the software is broken. And when I heard this from the customer, I thought that's funny, because I used to get this about PIDs all the time. Your PID is broken because it's not doing its job. In this instant, it was broken because it was not telling us that the PID wasn't performing. It wasn't changing. That the thing about it is their high level of maintenance was keeping that performance at that steady state. And they actually realized we need to transition from that optimization to maintenance, to start looking at the processes and say, how do we find those mid actors, the mid performing systems, and how do we lift them, so that we are running from the moderately high to the middle high positions on it. So moving from that just optimization to maintenance and looking at those mid-range controllers, they started to say, well, which loops are not giving significant PTIN, percentage time and normal. And they by just with a little focus, they went from overall 91% to 97%. Huge jump there, significant improvement on it. But I think what's more interesting is where they gained the OCEs. If you look at the 0 OCEs, they had a significant step, but in a low number of loops that had very low performance. And in the high range, it had high operating controllers, increased by a relatively small amount. But if you look at that mid-range, 50%, it was cut by 50%. There's a huge improvement in that volume, in that mid-range of the data. So it's quite significant there on it to take that. What's your take on those splits on the percentages there, Jan?
That is amazing. I mean, I think that middle one, like you said, the mid 50% of 50%, 25%.
Yeah, indeed.
That's a huge chunk. I mean, that's really, really impressive. And you take a look at OCE 65 to 71.4. That is stunning. I mean, for a company that's already performing at 65 to go up to 71, that is
correct. Absolutely.